Have you ever wondered if the concepts of birth and death, those universal markers of existence, are nothing more than illusions? What if everything you've been taught about the beginning and end of life is simply a construct, a framework designed to help us cope with the infinite? Here's the truth. Birth and death as we understand them were never real. They are transitions, thresholds, within a much greater journey. And yet, for centuries this knowledge has been obscured, buried in ancient texts and misunderstood by those unwilling to look beyond the physical. The reality is far more expansive than we've been led to believe, and understanding it could change everything about how you see life, death, and yourself. Right now, powerful forces are working to keep you tethered to this illusion of linear existence. Why? Because as long as you believe that birth and death are the absolute beginning and end, you remain trapped in fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of loss, fear of what lies beyond. But here's the catch. The idea that life starts at birth and ends at death is based on perception, not reality. By the end of this exploration, you'll understand why birth and death are not what you think they are, and how embracing this truth unlocks the infinite nature of your existence. To begin, let's unravel the concept of time. Most of us perceive time as a straight line, a series of moments progressing from the past to the present and into the future. This linear view shapes how we experience life, giving the illusion of a clear beginning and a definitive end. But what if time isn't linear? What if it's an interconnected web where past, present, and future exist simultaneously? This is exactly what quantum mechanics suggests. In the quantum realm, particles don't behave according to the rules of linear time. They exist in a state of probability, where multiple outcomes are possible until observed. This means that the flow of time, as we experience it, is not an absolute truth, but a perception created by our consciousness. Think about that for a moment. If time is not linear, then the concept of birth as a starting point and death as an ending collapses. What we perceive as the beginning and end are simply transitions, doorways within an infinite cycle. Ancient spiritual traditions have echoed this idea for centuries. In Hinduism and Buddhism, life and death are seen as part of a continuous cycle called samsara, where the soul transitions through different states of existence. These teachings align with modern quantum theories, suggesting that what we call life and death are just phases in the endless dance of energy and consciousness. Let's go deeper. The physical body, as remarkable as it is not the essence of who you are. It's a temporary vessel, a vehicle for your consciousness to experience the material world. But your consciousness, your true self, transcends the physical. This is a concept supported not only by spiritual teachings, but also by studies of near-death experiences, NDEs. Over decades, countless individuals who have had NDEs report consistent themes: a detachment from the physical body, an expanded sense of awareness, and a connection to a vast, loving presence. They describe witnessing their lives in review, feeling every emotion they've caused others, and understanding the interconnectedness of all things. These experiences suggest that consciousness doesn't end when the body does. It continues, free from the constraints of time and space. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. The subconscious mind, the part of you that operates beneath your conscious awareness, appears to interact with the quantum field. It's as if the subconscious acts as a bridge between the physical and non-physical realms, shaping your reality in ways you're often unaware of. Studies in quantum physics have demonstrated the observer effect, where particles behave differently depending on whether they are being observed. In other words, consciousness influences matter. If your mind can affect the behavior of quantum particles, it means your thoughts, beliefs, and intentions are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. It also means that your experience of life and death is shaped by your perception and energy. Now, consider the idea of reincarnation. Across cultures and centuries, the concept of reincarnation has persisted, suggesting that the soul doesn't simply vanish after death but continues its journey in new forms. This aligns with the understanding that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it merely transforms. Many who have experienced past-like regression or spontaneous memories of previous lives describe vivid details that defy explanation. These accounts point to the existence of the Akashic records, a term used to describe a universal database that contains the memories, actions, and lessons of every soul throughout time. If reincarnation is real, and the evidence strongly suggests it is, it further dissolves the illusion of birth and death as fixed boundaries. But why does all of this matter? Because the fear of death is one of the most pervasive and paralyzing fears humans experience. It's the fear of the unknown, the loss of identity, and the end of what we hold dear. This fear often keeps us from fully living, from taking risks, and from embracing our infinite potential. But when you understand that death is not an ending but a transition, that fear begins to fade. You start to see life as an opportunity to grow, learn, and connect, knowing that the essence of who you are will continue beyond the physical. To embrace this truth, you must first shift your perception. Meditation and mindfulness are powerful tools for this. Through meditation, you quiet the noise of the physical world and connect with the stillness of your eternal self. In this state, you can begin to sense the truth of your infinite nature, free from the illusions of time and physicality. Visualization is another tool. Imagine yourself as a being of light, interconnected with all that exists, moving seamlessly between realms. This isn't just an exercise, it's a way to reprogram your subconscious mind, aligning it with the understanding that you are more than your body and more than this lifetime. Let's also consider the role of love. Love is the one force that transcends life and death. It's the energy that connects us, no matter where we are in the cycle of existence. When a loved one passes, their energy doesn't disappear. It transforms. The bond you share with them continues, and the love you send them reaches them in their new state. This is why so many cultures emphasize rituals and prayers for the departed. These acts are not just for closure. They are ways of maintaining connection and supporting the soul's journey. As we unravel the illusion of birth and death, a profound truth emerges. Life is not a series of disconnected events with a beginning and an end. It's a flow, a continuous journey of transformation and growth. Every experience, every relationship, every moment is part of a greater whole, one that extends far beyond the physical realm. The question isn't whether life and death are real. It's whether you're ready to see through the illusion and embrace your infinite nature. As you begin to see life and death as part of an endless cycle, rather than rigid boundaries, something extraordinary happens. Fear starts to lose its grip, and you realize that the essence of who you are cannot be defined by a birth date or an expiration date. You begin to feel the freedom of knowing that your consciousness is not tied to this physical body, but is part of something far greater, an infinite, interconnected existence that spans dimensions and timelines. Let's take a moment to explore what happens when you move beyond the illusion of death. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, provide some of the most compelling evidence that consciousness transcends the physical. These aren't just fleeting moments of brain activity, they're profound experiences reported by people who were clinically dead, only to return with vivid accounts of what they encountered. Many describe feeling a sense of detachment from their body, often observing it from above. They recall moving through a tunnel of light, encountering beings of love, and feeling a connection to an all-encompassing presence. What's striking is how consistent these reports are across cultures, ages, and belief systems. The message is always the same. Death is not the end. Instead, it's a transition, a doorway into a state of existence that feels even more real than physical life. Those who've had these experiences often return with a profound sense of purpose and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. They no longer see death as something to fear, but as part of a larger journey. And perhaps most importantly, they see life itself as a gift, not because it's finite, but because it's an opportunity for the soul to grow, create, and connect. This idea aligns perfectly with the concept of the Akashic records, a universal repository of every thought, action, and experience throughout time. Think of it as a cosmic library where the story of your soul is stored. This isn't just a poetic metaphor. It's a concept that has been described in spiritual traditions around the world. From the Book of Life in Judeo-Christian teachings to the Hindu and Buddhist belief in karmic records, The idea is that the soul carries lessons and memories from one lifetime to the next. By accessing these records through meditation, dreams, or spiritual practices, individuals have reported gaining insights into their life's purpose, resolving karmic patterns, and understanding the broader tapestry of existence. Reincarnation is another key piece of this puzzle. For centuries, cultures around the world have embraced the idea that the soul doesn't simply vanish after death, but continues its journey in new forms. This belief isn't just rooted in ancient wisdom. Modern research is beginning to validate it. Consider the work of Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist who spent decades studying children who claimed to remember past lives. His meticulous documentation of these cases includes accounts of children recalling specific details about people, places, and events they couldn't have known. In many instances, these details were later verified, providing compelling evidence that the soul retains memories across lifetimes. But reincarnation isn't just about coming back to experience more of the physical world. It's about growth, evolution, and learning. Each life provides an opportunity to refine the soul's energy, to learn lessons that bring it closer to alignment with its true nature. From this perspective, life and death are not opposites, they're complementary stages in the soul's eternal journey. Birth is the soul stepping into a new chapter, and death is the soul returning to its essence, ready to reflect, recharge, and prepare for the next adventure. Let's also talk about the quantum perspective, which continues to challenge conventional ideas about reality. In the quantum field, particles behave in ways that defy logic. They exist in multiple states at once, are influenced by observation, and can remain connected even when separated by vast distances. This interconnectedness, known as quantum entanglement, mirrors the spiritual idea that all things are one. It suggests that the boundaries we perceive between ourselves and others, between life and death, are illusions. If everything is connected at the quantum level, then death is not a severance, it's a shift in energy, a reorganization within the infinite web of existence. So, what does this mean for how you live your life? It means that the fear of death, the fear that so often holds us back, is based on a misunderstanding of reality. When you see death as a transition rather than an end, you free yourself to live with greater courage and intention. You stop clinging to what is temporary and start focusing on what is eternal: love, growth, and connection. You begin to realize that every moment is an opportunity to contribute to the greater whole, to leave an energetic imprint that ripples through the universe. But how do you embrace this understanding on a practical level? Start by cultivating mindfulness. When you practice mindfulness, you anchor yourself in the present moment, allowing you to connect with the infinite nature of existence. Meditation is another powerful tool. Through meditation, you can quiet the noise of the physical world and tune into the subtle energy of your soul. Visualization can also help. Picture yourself as a being of light, interconnected with all of existence, moving seamlessly between dimensions and timelines. These practices aren't just exercises. They're ways of rewiring your perception, aligning your subconscious with the truth of your infinite nature. Another important step is reframing how you view challenges and losses. When you understand that life and death are part of a continuous cycle, you begin to see difficulties as opportunities for growth rather than as endings. Grief, for example, becomes a way to honor the love and connection you shared with someone, rather than a reminder of what's been lost. This doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means recognizing that pain is part of the human experience, a signal of how deeply you've loved and lived. As you embrace the truth that birth and death are illusions, you'll also start to notice synchronicities, moments that feel guided, as if the universe is communicating directly with you. These aren't coincidences. They're signs that you're aligning with the flow of existence, stepping into your role as a conscious co-creator. Pay attention to these moments, because they're clues to your path and purpose. Ultimately, the illusion of birth and death dissolves when you understand that your essence, your consciousness, was never born and can never die. You are part of an eternal flow, a vast and interconnected web of energy that transcends time and space. The physical world is just one layer of existence, a canvas for your soul to create and evolve. When this life ends, your journey doesn't. It continues, infinitely expanding into new experiences, new lessons, and new expressions of your essence. The question now is, how will you live, knowing that birth and death were never real? What will you create, knowing that your energy ripples through eternity? This is your invitation to step into the truth of your infinite nature, to embrace the boundless possibilities of existence, and to live with purpose, love, and awareness. Because the illusion of birth and death isn't meant to confine you, it's meant to awaken you to the infinite power that has always been within. Now that you've begun to embrace the idea that birth and death are illusions, let's explore what this understanding truly means for your daily life. When you strip away the fear of endings and beginnings, you uncover a profound freedom, the ability to live fully in alignment with your infinite nature. This isn't just a shift in perspective. It's a transformation that can change everything about how you experience reality. One of the first changes you'll notice is how you perceive time. If birth and death are not fixed points, then time itself becomes more fluid. The linear progression of past, present, and future dissolves, revealing a more expansive view of existence. This is where the quantum nature of time comes into play. In the quantum realm, time doesn't flow in one direction. Instead, it exists as an interconnected web, with all moments happening simultaneously. This means that your past, present, and future selves are not separate. They are aspects of the same infinite being, existing in parallel. What does this mean for you? It means that the decisions you make today ripple across time, influencing not just your future but also your past. Imagine being able to send healing energy to a painful memory, transforming how it affects you in the present. Or envision aligning with a future version of yourself who has already achieved the goals you're working toward. This isn't science fiction. It's a natural result of understanding that time is not a straight line but a dynamic, interconnected field. Practical techniques like visualization and meditation can help you access this expanded sense of time. For example, you can meditate on a past experience that still carries emotional weight. As you enter a relaxed state, visualize that moment as if it's happening now. See yourself stepping into the scene, offering love, forgiveness, or understanding to your past self. This act of energetic alignment can release the emotional charge of the memory, freeing you to move forward with clarity and peace. Similarly, you can connect with your future self by visualizing the version of you who has already achieved the outcomes you desire. Picture yourself in that state, confident, fulfilled, and aligned with your highest potential. As you hold this vision, notice the emotions and sensations that arise. This isn't just daydreaming. It's a way of aligning your current energy with the frequency of your desired reality. And because time is interconnected, this alignment influences not just your present, but the probabilities of your future. But let's go even deeper. If birth and death are illusions, then what is the purpose of this physical life? Why do we experience these transitions at all? The answer lies in growth. Life is a stage for the soul to evolve, to learn, and to create. Each experience, whether joyful or painful, offers an opportunity to expand your awareness and refine your energy. Birth is the soul stepping into a new chapter, taking on the challenge of navigating the physical world. Death is the soul's return to its essence, a chance to reflect on its journey and integrate the lessons it has learned. From this perspective, every challenge you face becomes a gift. The difficult relationships, the setbacks, the moments of uncertainty, they are all part of the soul's curriculum, designed to help you grow. When you stop seeing these experiences as obstacles and start viewing them as opportunities, you reclaim your power. You realize that nothing happens to you, everything happens for you, guiding you toward the highest expression of your true self. This understanding also transforms how you approach relationships. When you recognize that everyone is an eternal being on their own unique journey, you start to see others with greater compassion and understanding. You realize that the people in your life, whether they bring joy or challenge, are playing a role in your growth, just as you are in theirs. Even those who have passed on remain connected to you through the energy of love. That connection doesn't end with death because love is eternal, transcending time, space, and form. Let's talk about the fear of death, one of the most pervasive fears in human experience. This fear often stems from the belief that death is an end, a severing of everything you know and love. But when you see death as a transition rather than a termination, that fear begins to dissolve. You understand that your essence, your consciousness, continues to exist, evolving and expanding in ways that go beyond the physical. This doesn't mean grief disappears. It's natural to mourn the loss of someone's physical presence. But grief transforms when you know that the bond you share is unbreakable, that their energy remains part of your life, just in a different form. Many spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of honoring the departed, not just for closure but as a way of maintaining that connection. Rituals like lighting candles, offering prayers, or simply speaking to your loved ones in your heart are ways of acknowledging that the bond of love endures. These acts are not just symbolic. They carry real energy, creating a bridge between realms. And when you engage in these practices, you often find that you receive something in return, a sense of peace, a subtle sign, or even a profound feeling of their presence. As you begin to embody this understanding, you'll notice another shift, a deeper sense of purpose. When you know that life and death are not endpoints but transitions, you start to see every moment as part of a greater whole. This awareness encourages you to live with intention, to align your actions with your highest values, and to contribute to the collective energy in a positive way. You realize that your life is not just about personal growth, it's about being a source of love, creativity, and connection in the world. This brings us to the ultimate truth. You are infinite. Your existence is not confined to this body, this lifetime, or this reality. You are a spark of universal energy, an eternal being experiencing itself through countless forms and dimensions. Birth and death are merely thresholds, moments of transformation in an endless journey. The more you align with this truth, the more freedom, peace, and joy you will experience. So, how will you live knowing this? How will you embrace the infinite possibilities of your existence? This is your invitation to step beyond the illusion, to see life and death for what they truly are, and to awaken to the boundless power within you. The question isn't whether birth and death are real. The question is, are you ready to live as the infinite being you've always been? As we bring this exploration to a close, let's pause and reflect on the profound truth we've uncovered. Birth and death are not the beginnings and endings we've been taught to fear. They are transitions, thresholds within an eternal cycle of existence. And when you see through the illusion, you realize that you were never confined to these labels in the first place. You are infinite, timeless, and deeply connected to everything that exists. But this understanding isn't just philosophical, it's transformational. When you know that your consciousness transcends the physical, you begin to approach life differently. You no longer cling to the temporary and you stop fearing the unknown. Instead, you live with a sense of purpose, knowing that every moment is an opportunity for growth, connection, and creation. The challenges you face lose their power to define you because you see them as part of a greater plan designed to help your soul evolve. What's more, this realization gives you the courage to take risks, to follow your passions, and to express your authentic self. When you know that there is no true end, only transformation, you are free to live boldly, unapologetically, and with an open heart. Imagine what it would feel like to wake up each day with the certainty that you are part of something infinite, that your energy, your essence, continues to ripple outward, shaping the universe in ways you may never fully comprehend. This knowledge also transforms how you view those who have passed on. Instead of seeing death as a loss, you begin to see it as a change in form. The love you shared with those who have transitioned doesn't disappear, it evolves. Their energy remains connected to you, accessible through memory, intention, and the subtle signs they leave behind. This is why so many people who've embraced this understanding report feeling a deep sense of peace and even joy when they think about their departed loved ones. They know that the bond is eternal, unbroken by the illusion of death. Let's take a moment to consider what this means for humanity as a whole. Imagine a world where people are no longer ruled by the fear of death. What would that look like? Wars fought over resources or ideologies would lose their urgency. when people realize that they are all part of the same interconnected whole. Greed and scarcity would dissolve in the face of an abundant universe where energy flows endlessly. The divisions that separate us, race, nationality, religion, would fade, replaced by the understanding that we are all expressions of the same infinite source. This is the promise of awakening to the illusion of birth and death. It's not just personal, it's collective. The more individuals embrace this truth, the more the world will shift toward unity, compassion, and harmony. Each person who steps into their infinite nature becomes a beacon, inspiring others to do the same. This ripple effect creates waves of transformation, not just within communities but across the entire planet. But this journey begins with you. It begins with your willingness to question everything you've been taught about life and death, and to explore the truth for yourself. It begins with small steps, moments of reflection, practices of mindfulness, and acts of love. It begins when you choose to see yourself as a finite being. As you move forward, remember this: you are not bound by the limitations of the physical. You are not defined by the circumstances of your birth or the timing of your death. You are a creator, a spark of universal energy, here to learn, grow, and expand. Every moment, every experience, and every connection is part of the tapestry of your eternal journey. The question isn't whether this journey is real, it's whether you're ready to embrace it fully. So, ask yourself, what will you do with this knowledge? How will you live, knowing that the essence of who you are is infinite, timeless, and unbreakable? Will you continue to see yourself as limited, or will you step into your power as a conscious creator? The choice is yours, and the possibilities are endless. Reality is not what it seems. Birth and death were never real. They are simply part of the illusion we navigate as souls exploring the infinite. Now that you see through the illusion, it's time to live differently, to love more deeply, and to embrace the truth of your boundless existence. The journey doesn't end here. It's only just beginning.